Hi, Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and here's another interview in my series of interviews with subscribers. Enjoy! Okay, welcome to another Idiot Quilter Presents, and today I have a very special guest, Dana. Dana and I have known each other for a while now, although we have never actually physically met, but we met on the Quilter's Way, our paid membership group that we belong to. And yeah, we've been talking back and forth. Some of you may know Dana as well because she's a regular on Craft and Chat and on Pop-Up Sew Days as well. So not somebody that is strange to probably most of us. And I just realized how that sounds. That's not what I meant. But anyways, welcome, Dana. So Dana, where are you located?
I am presently in Regina, Saskatchewan, Canada.
Lovely Regina. How's the weather there these days?
Today it will be 26 and sunny. Last week it was 36 and very warm wind. So I'm pleased to say that it's cooling down, but will be lovely again today.
Fall is coming. Yeah, well, your weather sounds better than ours today because we're only at 21 today and it's raining. So yeah, but we all know what's just around the corner because we're Canadians. So
Yes, and that S word is a 4-letter swear word in my mind.
yep,
So
it definitely is. Okay, so how long have you been quilting?
probably since about 1974.
Wow, back in the
Is
dark ages.
back in the dark ages. I fell in love with a quilt pattern, bought it, and I have never finished. It's in my the longest works in progress probably for anyone. But if I were to go back and pull it out with all the knowledge that I have absorbed for that long, I'm not sure I wouldn't have to start it all over again.
Yeah, and plus our techniques and our tools since the 1970s have changed. Like in the 1970s, you wouldn't have had a rotary blade cutter. So you must.
No, I think I was using a very tiny pair of scissors, to cut all this stuff out.
And
So
fabric selection would not be what we had today. I'll bet you you've got polyester and rayon and stuff in that quilt.
no, no. The good news is this was even back then 100% cotton, but it was only black and white and red.
Yeah, right. So
I've come a long way since then. Now I'm black and white and grays and a dark purple, as you can see
yes,
beside me.
yes, we can see that. We're going to talk about some of your creations too in a moment. But what I want to know right now is, so how did you get started? What turned you on to quilting way back then?
Way back then, I've been giving this some thought. I have no idea why I started. I really don't. I saw something I really liked. I don't even know why I was in a quilt store. I have no idea.
So previous to quilting, did you sew?
Yes. Yes. I used to make doll clothes when I was at that age. And then my great aunt, one Christmas, probably with the help of my mother, provided me with a beautiful box full of fabric to make a dress.
Hmm.
It was fully lined. I
Hmm.
made it. I wore it for a couple of years. I loved it. And when I outgrew it and left home, my mother gave it to my great aunt, who was tiny, and she wore it for years.
Well, certainly got your money and time's worth out of that creation, right?
I did. My mom sewed for all of us. So, yes, we have pictures of mom's hat, matchy matchy for three sisters, etc., etc. So I started on the next level up from a tread singer sewing machine. I had the one that had um,
Oh, the knee controller, like,
the knee control.
yeah.
Yes. And that's how I learned how to sew in the basement.
Mm. So you mentioned your mother. So was she your main influence in sewing, or did you have other influences as well?
My mom was my main influence back then. My grandmother knit, and I've done lots of other crafts, but it was my mom that I learned from, and then grade 7 and grade 8, grade 9, grade 10, things like that.
Yeah. So you didn't come by this by anything strange. You had people in your family who were creatives as well, by the sounds of things, knitting and sewing and everything along there. So you just probably very naturally fell into this kind of thing as well. So,
I fell into it head first, I think.
oh, well, that's not unusual. Most people do, I think. So, what's your favorite creation and why? Or do you have a favorite creation?
I do not have a favorite creation. I really like everything that I do that I have finished.
Yeah.
Um, I think maybe the crib quilt I made.
Oh, we want puppies
Sorry,
on here.
we
That's
have a
okay.
puppy in here and I did not realize it.
He wants to be on the show. He can be.
Maybe later. Hush, you. Sorry.
That's okay.
I didn't even realize she was here all
Yeah,
of a
there you
sudden.
go. She realized that too, and she wanted you to give her attention now.
Yes, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Um, it was a baby quilt that I made for my granddaughter, the very first one. I think that's the one that brings the warmth to my heart.
Yeah.
And but other things I've been working on, well, even the one that's behind me is a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
It is a duvet cover,
Oh yeah.
but once I got it all done, I realized, or I was informed,
Oh.
that I needed to put a lining on the back of it because when you put the duvet in, the
Oh
duvet
right.
would start rubbing against the seams.
Yeah.
So this is proving to be really interesting. A friend of mine and I were out on her front porch that has slats on the woods like spacers, spraying this, and I brought it home and went, "Oh, that'll never work."
Well, live and learn, right? So
Yeah, don't do that.
no,
Um, and it matches. There's actually purple in there. I know you may not be able to see it.
no.
That's a Krista Moser pattern,
Oh, okay.
and that is called Woven Jewel Box.
And
And
it's
by
on
rights,
point,
it's
right?
supposed to have all different colors of jewels down the center.
Right.
But my daughter's bedroom out at the farm is purple, black, and white.
Ah,
And I was able to do matchy matchy, but you
yeah,
can't really see the purple.
yeah. So I think you mentioned too that this one's an on point as well. And
Yes, I'd never done an on point one either.
so when you
So
went into this one, you went into it in a big way. Never made a duvet cover before, and then it's on point. Okay, you bit off a lot.
yes, I did. Certainly more than I knew about when I started. But the things we do for our children,
I think so, yeah. So
apparently.
that makes me want to ask you too. So what do you do with everything that you make? Do you hang on to it? Do you give give it away? Is it gifts all the time? What do you do with it?
Summer gifts. Just finished a hockey memory quilt
Hmm.
for from my nephew. Nope. So Lori's son, yeah, my nephew's son,
Hmm.
and it has pictures of our different members of Beaumont's family
Hmm.
when they were young and playing hockey. Pictures of his dad and his uncles, his grandparents, including my dad and my mom at a hockey game. Like I just scrounge around for pictures and then start adding them to the quilt, and that was fun to do.
I was going to say, and that's a very unique piece, and I'm sure he'll appreciate it. Um,
He will someday. I think he's only 2 now, but I
oh,
think
okay.
his parents will appreciate it more.
Yeah.
They're expecting a second child, I just found out,
Oh,
but I'm not making another quilt. That's going to be the family heirloom of the hockey night in Canada.
right.
Um, I've done other memory quilts for a dear friend of mine who lost her son.
Hmm.
He was early 40s, went to bed, didn't wake up
Oh,
that
gee.
night. And I made a memory quilt for his wife and his son.
Well, that would be very nice for them. That'll be something that they'll keep forever with that, and maybe pass it down too in
Yeah,
generations, because that's very, very special. So,
which is why my website is called One of a Kind Quilting, because I only do one of a kind.
one of a kind. So do you prefer to design quilts, or do you prefer to use a pattern and then maybe alter the pattern to suit your taste, or what? How do you go about that then when you're starting a new project?
I usually start with a pattern and then adapt it. However, when you get asked to do a Power Rangers girl quilt and you've never even heard of them before,
And I remember that quilt, seeing that one. Yeah,
yeah,
that was a wonderful quilt.
thank you. I have all of these pictures of these quilts on my website now.
Okay. Well, we're going to
So,
come to your
yeah,
website in a few minutes, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. But what I'd like to know right now is, how would you describe yourself as a quilter? What type? Are you traditional, modern, freeform, experimental, exploratory?
I'm more of a visual artist. I design by the seat of my pants.
Okay. And
I'm
I'm,
a I'm
yeah,
a theme I'm a theme artist. If someone comes and asks me to do a quilt for a baby or even the Power Ranger girls, give me a theme and then I visually start playing.
yeah. And I like the fact that you just use the term, you're a visual artist, and use the word artist, because I'm on a mission to retrain people to realize that we as quilters are artists. We are not crafters. And there's nothing wrong with someone being called a crafter. But the thing is, what crafting for people who don't do these things, what that defines for them. They think we're out there with our glue gun and our construction paper, right? And as quilters, we know we're working with textiles. Our canvas is fabric. And so I was really happy to hear you say, call yourself an artist, because I really believe we are artists. So, as an artist, every artist has a workspace, and I can see you're in yours. So, do you want to give us a quickie description of your work area? Like, what's its size? How's it set up? That kind of thing.
I am in the master bedroom of this 2-bedroom condo.
Hmm.
There is more sewing, and I'm sitting at my office desk. To my right is the computer, the printer. Um, it's supposed to be a clear glass table for bills, etc. Well, it's got a little bit of a pile on it. Um, some of the artwork that is in which you can't see. These are all things like cross stitch, needlepoint, um, things that I have done that I have hung on the wall that are safe and sound. To my left is my sewing machine table and my TV.
Hmm. So
Because
you're well set up, well equipped. in this
I
space.
am. My sewing table is down further, my cutting table, sorry, and that's just IKEA items put together, put on, the legs, put on the things that make it higher.
Yeah.
Although I don't want it too high because I am vertically challenged. But leaning over to iron is not an option for me. So
Yeah.
design wall behind here. I'm really lucky that I have um, the morning sun, for instance, and facing east. And I would never need this for me for a bedroom.
Right.
And
So
all this stuff would not fit in the smaller bedroom.
no, that's right. Yeah, that's what we do, isn't it? We find the biggest space in our house and we dedicate it to our sewing area. We're okay. We can live in smaller spaces, but our work area has to be big. And
Yes.
that is very true. So, talking about your workroom, then, how many sewing machines do you have
In this room or in the house?
in the house? Because
Gotcha.
I know as quilters, we all have more than one sewing machine.
Yes, yes, we do. My Nouvelle 1500 single needle is one of my favorites for piecing.
Hmm.
I have a Husqvarna Diamond that I use for piecing, sewing, and embroidery, machine embroidery. Downstairs is a Brother Quattro embroidery machine that keeps getting forgotten.
Oh,
And I did an impulse buy on a Bernina embroidery machine, which I'm still deciding whether, if anybody out there wants a Bernina embroidery machine, please contact me.
well, why is that? It sounds like you drank the Kool-Aid, the Bernini
I did
Kool-Aid.
drink the Kool-Aid. That is part of the problem.
Mhm.
Um, I was planning on having, before COVID,
Mm.
I was planning on teaching. I have a whole area set up down in my basement to teach, and that has never happened.
Oh,
And with COVID still hanging around, it still hasn't happened.
yeah.
And then I thought, well, I'll just get all these machines going and, do things all at once.
I
Well, that has never happened.
was going to say, how'd that work out?
No, I don't have an answer to that
Yeah.
question.
Because I tried to do the same thing, and every time you do, the machines get jealous of each other and they want to act up.
Oh, thank you for the warning. Yeah, I was afraid the jealousy might take. And besides, there's three levels of stairs, and I'd be running up and down
Oh,
all the
yeah.
time. So
Well,
I
you get your
haven't.
steps in.
I'd get my steps in. Yes, and then I have two little ones that go to retreats
Hmm.
or go camping with me.
Right. Yes, I know. You take your sewing machine when you go camping. That's not camping. That's glamping. You go
Yes.
glamping.
Yes, I go glamping. I have to admit, I put it out on a picnic table with a cover on top, and I have designed several things.
Yeah. I think that's kind of cool myself. I think I've got to try one day. Well, not this time of the year right now wouldn't be so good, but I've got to try, moving my sewing machine out on my deck and on a nice day, and just go to town on it.
It's awesome. I also quilt in my or sew in my garage.
Yeah, I know. I've seen your when you've been doing that too. So
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
just open up the garage. Well, it's been way too hot. I'm not complaining about the heat that we've had this summer.
yeah,
But it was too hot, and now it's cooling off. And I will move on out to the garage maybe later on today with another couple of projects and just get some more of the fresh air and the sunshine.
yep. That's I really envy you that. My garage is too full of stuff. I can't do that. So, do you have a favorite tool? Something you reach for all the time you could not live without, besides your sewing machine?
what's the word for the thing that has the handle? I told the handle and the sticky roll on it.
Oh, a lint brush?
A lint brush.
Yeah, lint roller, yeah. The sticky
I have a
draw
Yeah, I have a
diagram.
dog and a cat, so I use the lint brush a lot.
Yeah.
I really enjoy having my wool pressing mat,
Mm-hmm.
a variety of rulers, and my rotary cutter.
Yep. Yep. All the basics really you need.
All the basics.
Back to your lint roller. I mean, yes, obviously, if you have pets, you're going to have hair with them. There's no getting away from that. But I love my lint roller too because I use it all the time to pick up little stray threads and things on the quilts or on my wool mat. I use it on my
Yes.
wool mat to pick up because you know you always get strings there. So yeah, that is a tool that nobody in any of the interviews I've done have ever mentioned that one. So you're the
Well,
first
that
to
just
mention
makes
that.
me special. We
You
know
are
that.
you are special in so many ways.
Ways.
So do you have a favorite technique?
I like using the Acorn Precision Piecing Solution from Shelley and Bernie Tobish.
Yep.
I have found that that has made a huge difference in my piecing capabilities.
Yep. That stuff is excellent. And if anybody out there doesn't know what we're talking about, just do a search for Acorn Precision Piecing um, glue
Products.
or products. Yeah, because there's several. They have the pressing. I love the pressing solution. I use it all the time with it too. But yeah, those are excellent products. So if you're having trouble getting your seams straight or holding things down, definitely look into this because it is great. So, and we are not sponsored by them. So
No, no,
we're just telling you what we like. So, if you had all the money in the world, do you have a piece of equipment you would like to invest in?
I asked that question to my daughter last night, and she said, "Well, would you get the long arm back?" And I said, "I don't have room for the long arm. I had one. I sold it. It's now in Nanaimo, British Columbia, and I would possibly trade in all my machines for an updated embroidery machine and an updated sewing machine,
Hmm, yeah,
and get rid of some of the ones that are here. But with all the money in the world, which I don't have,
no,
I'm doing with what I got.
yeah,
And there's no room for a long arm.
no, that's the problem with the long arm, right? It's finding the space more than anything. I mean, you can usually find the money, but the space, yeah. But
I'd have a tougher time finding the money because I'd end up putting it into my bedroom and then sleeping on the couch.
yeah,
And that's not going to happen.
no, that's not going to happen. So, have you ever belonged to an in-person group or design team or an online group, guild, whatever? I know part of the answer to this, but this is for
Yeah.
the benefit of those that are watching this.
Once upon a time, long, long ago, I used to live in Calgary, Alberta, and my first guild was the Millrise Quilt Guild. Now that I'm back in Saskatchewan, I do not attend the Regina Guild, but instead I go with friends 60 kilometers away to Moose Jaw,
Hmm.
to Prairie Hearts, Moose Jaw Prairie Hearts Quilt Guild. And the ladies and gentlemen are wonderful there. And I've made lots of friends and get great ideas. And so, yes, I am part of Moose Jaw's Guild. I'm part of, as we've said before, um, with Kim Jameson Hurst and TQW,
The Quilter's Way. Yep.
Quilter's Way. And I take online courses through John at Art East Quilt
Hmm.
Co. in Nova Scotia.
Yes, that's the one you
And
were talking about the other day on Craft and Chat with your Dorothy, with the Wizard of
with
Oz.
with my Dorothy. Guess what? I can do Dorothy. She's right here.
Dorothy's done with her.
Dorothy is done, and she measures exactly what she's supposed to measure
Oh,
without
wow.
any points or toes taken off.
And it looks good. But as we were talking the other day, it looks when you show it to us like at first, like she's got a little midriff top on and a mini skirt. So you've updated Dorothy.
I have, yes, and all the others have put on the blue gingham, which in the 1939 movie, it was blue gingham.
Yeah.
In the book, it is written blue gingham,
Hmm.
but I've updated Dorothy to, 2022.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing for Dorothy, I think. It's time to bring her into the 21st century. So, what's your favorite store for supplies and materials, or do you actually order more things online or a combination thereof?
My store is right now in my basement.
Up in your stash.
I've been shopping my stash for 2 years now, and it works quite well. If I need anything, I will often go to, there's a quilt store here in Regina that is close. We have two quilt stores. One is closer, and with the price of gas, I just take the quick trip over, and it is Northgate Singer.
Right.
And I have my first sewing machine came from there back in the 70s. So I've had a relationship with that store. Or if I want to buy something in Ontario, I often, because I have been to beautiful Prescott, Ontario,
Mhm.
I go get in touch with the girls at, just a second.
It'll come to you.
It will. Ding.
Yeah.
Um, Oh, that's horrible. Sorry, Michelle, if you're watching this, you were going to be really upset. What a Girl Quilt Co.
Oh, okay.
in Prescott, Ontario. And if I'm doing something in Alberta or going to a retreat, there it'll be Dragon's Heart Quilt Shop in Pincher Creek.
Yeah, okay. Um, so the one that you go to in Regina, Northgate, that's Peachtree Quilt School, right?
Peachtree Quilt,
Yeah.
yes.
Which I have reviewed on the channel before, and I love them too because I haven't ordered anything from them lately, but I better do that. They may think I've forsaken them because I have not. They're great.
We may have, I think they have a sale on right now, hint, hint.
Oh, don't tell me that.
The fall sale.
We'll get you behind me, Satan. Yeah,
Oh, okay, fine.
you enabler. That's it.
Yes, I
Yes,
am. Well,
yes, you are.
Walter and I do our best,
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And well, I'm an easy pushover. You know that too. So for all this kind of stuff. So do you have any favorite experts or sources for information that you turn to when you're in need of guidance or inspiration?
Google. Google is great.
Yep.
And so are people like Jenny Doan,
Oh, yes.
Donna Jordan,
Yep.
Karen Brown with Just Get It Done Quilts,
Yes.
Krista Moser,
Yep.
and John at Art East Quilt.
Yeah. Yeah.
They all have videos. They all have instructions. So is it so easy? We are so lucky as a quilting community around the world that we can watch anytime, day or night, somebody teaching us something
Yes, that's true.
from almost any country in the world, as long as we understand their language.
Yes.
And even some of the videos, which are in, they just have the music behind,
Yep.
are excellent sources to learn things too.
Yeah, I don't know what we would have done without the internet, without YouTube and Google, because that's basically how I've learned most of the things that I've learned in quilting. I mean, I've taken classes, but during COVID, well, it was a godsend, YouTube.
Yes.
and
Yep.
everything like that. So yeah. So do you have any challenges or goals for the future in terms of projects you want to attempt?
Yeah, getting that
Yeah.
duvet cover done. My daughter is coming later on this week, and this really supposed to belong to her. So the next couple days will be try and get what I'm doing on this one is because it has a lining, you have to sew the lining to the back, to the
Yeah.
front. And I'm just where it goes zigzag in the dark, I'm pinning it, undoing the glue from the
Yeah.
disaster, pinning it, um, basting it,
Yeah.
spreading it out, sewing it, moving on. So I'm about half done, and then I still have to do all the rest of it for her. I also have craft sales that are coming up, and I have recently purchased and being delivered from Calgary because there weren't any in Saskatchewan, a single, a straight needle sewing plate for my Husqvarna. And in order to do all the embroidery that I want to do, machine embroidery,
Right.
I am waiting for the delivery of that. I have 13 towels to embroider names on for a homeschool teacher in Nanaimo, BC.
Oh, geez.
But you see, I do that for her, and when I go to Nanaimo, she she quilts on my long arm.
Ah, okay. So it's an exchange here of
It
a,
is. It
yeah.
works very well, actually. Yeah.
So do you go to these do you go to craft fairs like as a vendor on a regular basis?
I have 4 of them between now and Christmas.
Oh, geez.
Am
How
I
do
ready?
you
No. I have to finish this.
yeah. You know,
The first one is September the 30th, so I've still got 2 weeks, but I have plans.
yeah,
I have what I want to make. And some of it is machine embroidered, so
yeah,
it'll be rocking and rolling once I get
yeah,
the plate.
yeah. Now I was just going to go back to your duvet cover there. Wouldn't it have been easier just to have made her a quilt?
I Yeah, the answer to that is absolutely yes. And I would have been done by now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yes. However, she and her husband are duvet cover people for sleeping.
Hmm. Okay. I would have just said, well, get over that. You're getting a quilt. Move on. Yeah, maybe not.
What challenge? Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
It's a
okay.
challenge. It's been a learning
Yeah,
experience,
for sure.
and it's okay.
Yeah. Well,
But so glad to get it out of my house and send it out to the farm.
yeah. Well, at least you've learned what you don't like to do
Yep.
from that.
Yep.
That's true. So let's talk about, I know you don't have a YouTube channel, but you are putting up a web page. So let's talk a little bit about it. Now, you said that your web page is going to be called oneofakindquilting.com, all one word. And I will post that in the show notes below so people can check you out. But you're just in the process of finishing up on that, aren't you? So let's talk a little bit about what people will be able to find when you have it up.
My daughter Sarah is my go-to website person, and she took a picture of some log in Alberta, and it has animal tracks all over it. It's super unique, and it almost looks like free motion quilting.
Hmm.
And she set that up. I've had one called Quilting for Children for a number of years, but now that it's more of one of a kind quilting,
Hmm.
we're shifting it over. And it shows pictures of things that I have made, quilts that I have donated, um, items for sale, And I'm sure there's a few more things in there. I don't have it in front of me and I haven't memorized all the, I'm just learning how to input all the pictures.
Oh, yes.
But she has all the buy or, to shop and everything. She's got that all set up. So that's going to be, I'm updating it for all the things that I've made over the last 2
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. So, but plus you've got a shop part in it as well. So what kind of things are you going to be selling in the shop part?
Possibly embroidered towels, for instance. Some of my quilt, I have some that I have not donated, and I would like someone else to love them as much as I enjoyed making them,
Right.
but they're not for me.
Yeah.
And both for adult children, babies,
Yeah.
it'll be whatever comes off my machine and going, here we go, anybody like this? I'm hoping at the craft fairs that some of the examples that I have of patterns that someone will like it well enough to for me to make it for someone special for
Mm,
Christmas,
yeah. So
so that I have a plan
yeah. Well,
and they have a gift.
it sounds great. So it's not quite live yet, right? Or is it?
It is live.
Oh, okay.
It's live. It's just not totally complete yet.
Okay.
But
So
it doesn't say it's not totally complete. You
okay, so
can just see pictures.
people should come often to see different things that it's always progressing, always changing. So, don't visit it once, you have to visit it multiple times for all.
Yes. And there's also things like reading pillows. I have a couple of those. Um, and with the love of animals that we have, there will be sayings embroidered on covers, pillow covers, like you can't buy love, but you can rescue a dog or a cat or something.
Yeah, so
I don't have one in front of me right now, but cats or dogs, or I can design almost anything.
and that's why it's called one of a
One of
kind.
a kind.
So unique creations. You could call it unique creations by Dana, too. So
Oh, if I go and tell Sarah she has to change the name of the website
yeah,
again.
yeah, better not do that. Not probably a good thing. Okay, so my last question for you then is, do you have any advice for anyone who wants to get started into this form of art, quilting?
Talk to people, join a guild, become friends with someone else who in quilt, watch videos, and start saving because it's not the least expensive uh, craft
Yeah,
art
art,
that
hobby.
we do.
Yeah,
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 because it does. And the increase in our tools, in our thread, the cost of
yeah.
the different type of rulers, now that we can take classes online, it all adds up.
Yes, it does. But that's the same with any kind of artwork, craft, or hobby. They all cost money. There's no such thing, I don't believe, anyways, in a cheap hobby or pastime. But if it brings you joy, I think that's the most important thing. Don't let money stand in your way to bring you happiness.
Exactly. And you can recycle. You can start off by going to say the Salvation Army or thrift stores and find a partially made quilt that someone has donated and learn and
Yeah.
just have fun. Don't get angry. Don't get frustrated. Always have some water or a drink to keep your brain still working. And if it gets to be too much, get up and walk away
Right.
and come back.
Yeah.
Please come back.
Because it's supposed to be fun, right? So if you're not enjoying it, why do it? I mean, that's the way I look at it. And it's only thread, it's only fabric. You know, you will make mistakes, you learn from them, and you move on. No one's going to be perfect the first time they start in this. And for some of us, like me, I'm never perfect. So that those are customizations. That's what we call customizing.
Customization. Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
The other thing is that there are different methods. If you can't, for binding, for example, your quilt's all done, you put on a binding. How do you match the edges? There's about 6 different ways.
Yeah.
If you get frustrated with one, watch a YouTube video on
Yeah.
find another way of doing it. There's just not one way of doing anything. And
No,
we have artistic license because everything we make is one of a kind.
that's right. And I think, like Jenny Doan says, your brain, you have to find things that work with the way your brain works. And we're not all the same with that. So I think that's really good advice. Check out other ways to do things. Don't get frustrated. There's going to be some method there that's going to suit the way you think. So yeah. So do you have any parting words before we say goodbye? Anything that you'd like to say or let us know?
Stephen, thank you for this opportunity. I've never been interviewed before.
Well,
Um,
I feel honored.
and it's a new world out there. And the with Stephen's craft and chat, with his sew days, with going on block of the month classes, for taking classes, I have met so many people from around the world that I would never, ever, ever had an opportunity to meet or get to know. Whether it's Prescott, Ontario, I wouldn't have known that Michelle was at Water Girl Quilt Co.
Yep.
I wouldn't know that there were so many quilt stores and all across Canada. We are quite a quilting community,
That's true. True.
and it keeps growing.
Yep. It
All
does.
ages. The Moose Jaw Quilt Guild is a lot of seniors and a lot of information
Yes.
and knowledge and the oh, the things I've learned.
Yeah, yeah, true. The things we've learned. Yeah, that's for sure. Well, anyways, thank you so much, Dana, for doing this interview with me today. And everybody, you can check out Dana's website at oneofakindquilting.com. It'll be in the show notes below. And remember, it's still evolving. So check there often for new things that are there. And well, Dana, you stay on the line here, but I'm going to end the recording. But thank you so much for doing this. This was wonderful.
Just a quick note, put the www dot oneofakindquilting.com in, please, because you won't find me because Google doesn't know I exist yet. I
Oh,
haven't got enough likes or or enough traffic.
okay. Well, that's a good thing. So yes, remember the www.oneofakindquilting.com and people will find you. So thank you, Dana, so much. I'm going to let you go now and enjoy the rest of your day as you finish your duvet cover. and on that
Thank
note,
you, Stephen.
I'm going to stop the recording.